Hello, Musto0063 back for Shovel Knight Part 13. Last time we cleared out the Hall of Champions and we've pretty much done everything on the map we can do, short of the Tower of Fate. So let's go there, and the first level is, understandably, the entrance. Now I love the music in this place. And what we're going to kind of see is a little bit of screw up right there at the beginning, although I just about rectify myself, is that, as I guess with most perhaps Mega Man Fortress stages, we kind of see little homages to certain, stages we've previously cleared. So you may have kind of picked up on the up and down enemies that kind of spawned out those pits, as well as the mole that kind of come out of that dirt pile. Told you that certainly that wasn't going to be the last we saw of that. And here you can clearly see we've got the book kind of gimmick from King's Knight stage. So for this first tower, I reckon we've got gimmicks and whatnot that came from 5 of the stages. They would be King, Spectre, Plague, Mole and Propeller, although Propeller's a little bit of a tricky one to kind of come up with. The best I can come up with is one of the screens later on, right near the end of a level, and possibly this section, just notably because it's a climbing section with areas where you can easily fall down and have to redo bits of the level all over again. Particularly this screen, which I made a little bit of a mess of, but in some ways pulled off a really awesome save right at the end here, with just this little bit here. But yeah, I'm struggling to find a little bit of the kind of like gimmicks from Propeller's Night stage. There isn't thankfully, I guess, wind or anything like that. But yeah, not too many enemies that I would say are kind of unique to that level either. A couple, but not too many. But anyway, we've already seen the book from King Knight stage, and here we can see the cauldrons and this griffin enemy over the right-hand side of the screen, which borrows heavily from King stage. You can either stand where I am. I recommend with the cauldrons kind of dropping, the lava and whatnot on you, that staying at the very left-hand side of the platform with the ladder, or indeed perhaps going past the first 2 cauldrons and standing on the right-hand side of that platform, actually are good safe spots for the waves of fire that the griffin shoots out. So either of those would do fine, actually. We had a little enemy there from Plague Knight stage, throwing the bombs that kind of destroy these more easily breakable blocks, and the other brilliant thing, which you can kind of see here, is it automatically counts as kind of like, I don't know, a double count for your shovel swipe, for bouncing twice in order to get a charged shovel shot, and that's awesome as well. I love this armour, it's absolutely brilliant. That's not to say that just because the stage borrows heavily from, a lot of the other knights, Ordinary Quarter Knights, that it doesn't have its own little bits. So here we have a crushing kind of segment. It was kind of a little bit, I guess, like Tinker Knight stage. Although I think that's the bit that really kind of comes from Tinker Knights is to come in the second Tower of Fate screen. But yeah, what good Mega Man game, or indeed doesn't have a kind of a crusher segment? So yeah, this is the Shovel Knight's version of it. It's got enemies in the way, it's got other gimmicks like bubbles that you have to kind of bounce off of. I wouldn't say the section is too bad. It goes on for a little bit of time, and you do kind of need to, I don't know, there's a nice balance I think between not rushing and having to kind of rush, if that kind of makes sense. So here there's a bit where you kind of need to rush straight away under there, or you're going to find that you fall off the screen. This bit here is a wonderful kind of bit where you do need to kind of slow down, take your time, and other sections where you really do need to dash for it. There's a little entrance here with a music sheet. It kind of telegraphs that you're going to have to go down there, but yeah, getting up to here is, for instance, quite tricky, or you have to kind of go quite quickly so the floor doesn't catch up with you. And this bit as well, don't dawdle there. If you kind of take too much time, you'll find that you don't have enough room to be able to jump up and then pogo the block, which you're going to need to get your safe spot. So yeah, it's a nice kind of mix, I think. This bit, I think, at the end actually does remind me a bit more of Tinker Knight's stage with the scrolling screen with the walls. But these two, we haven't only seen one here, but believe me, there are two. Two kind of annoying knights positioned where you can kind of end up getting crushed and whatnot. So yeah. I guess this bit does remind me a little bit of Tinker Knight stage, but I say the bit that's really going to remind me of it is in the second area. As I say, the fact again that you get your charge swipe by pogoing on enemies' heads makes the ones with the that put their shields up even better, because again you'll naturally get it by just them doing that stick by sticking their shield up. And here we can see that we're combining gimmicks. So we've got the chandeliers from King stage, and we've got the bubbling cauldrons from Plague Knight stage. So yeah, now we're even combining gimmicks. Introduced to a somewhat new and annoying enemy, depending on how you take them out. I always like to try and take these things out from a distance because they move rather quickly. They can do things, as you saw there, which make me panic and drop down ladders. But where they kind of like drop down and, or even, like you see there, they're kind of like there's a bat that's kind of hanging there, which makes it a little bit harder to hit as well. So I always like to generally kind of take them out from a distance, and the flare wand is a very good way of doing that. Some of them, which we'll see in a later screen, are actually very good for getting the reflect projectiles back at them achievement. So that's something, I guess. But yeah. Here we have a little section again with King Knight's chandeliers that I make a mess of. Fortunately, it's not the case of where I hit the spikes and die, or have to go back a huge distance. I landed on the top of this screen, so ultimately this bit was easy enough to do, having landed on the top of the screen, because there weren't the enemies at the bottom that I was going to wake up and whatnot. But yeah, I still would have rather not to do it. Yeah, I tell you that having to falling off and having to redo stages reminds me heavily of Propeller Knight, even if I don't think there's necessarily too much that actually comes directly from Propeller Knight stage in this first level. So here's an example of the how to easily, I guess, get the Reflect Lord achievement for reflecting projectiles back. I'm not going to stand here and do it, you know, so often this go, but just as a demonstration there, this is a very, very good space where you can just kill that one, shoot two back at it, go walk off screen, walk back on screen, and then, you know, repeat. I think it's only you have to do it 30 times, so actually if you kill that enemy 15 times in a row just by doing that, even if you haven't reflected anything else in the game up to that point, you'll get the achievement for there. And here's me making a ginormous mess of killing that flying enemy and getting hit by the projectile from this guy, which pulled me down on the spikes. I almost messed up jumping back up as well. I messed up my jump first time, so I was really panicking there. I was thinking, oh god, please don't die at this point in time in the game. On that last little screen, be careful when you pogo down as well, that you don't pogo through the easily breakable floor. You'll just drop straight down onto the spikes. If you've got your phase locket on, you could get away with it, but yeah, I'd recommend certainly slashing in mid-air once you've done the actual pogo manoeuvre. And you think they're going to be kind of kind to you here. They give you 2 plateau opportunities, but both of them have bombs in them. So I guess that's taking a little bit from Polar Knights as well. But yeah, here's where we're really borrowing from Spectre Knight stage. So we've got the darkness, no flashing lightning, but yeah, we can't really see. Well, I guess we can see where we're going good enough. In some ways, it's almost just like a new gimmick, I guess, in itself, really. So yeah, it's not, you know, it's not total darkness that we can't see where we're going, and I guess there's not lightning. But to me, it kind of feels like it is borrowing from Spectre Knight in the sense that we kind of. Yeah, we're not kind of like in the, you know, either in the foreground and have kind of a clear sight. Whatever you do, don't miss that fishing spot there. It can be a bit difficult to miss, particularly with the kind of the shadow effect that's going on. But yeah, it has a music sheet in it, so it's definitely not one you want to miss. And there's an abundance of annoying enemies here, with those fast-moving kind of vampire enemies, the ones that stick their shield up, also these birds that swoop down as well, and it becomes a bit of a nuisance trying to deal with them all at once. A lot of these walls are breakable. Indeed, all of them at some point, at some particular height, are breakable. So yeah, just kind of watch out for that. Not this one at the top though. And I didn't feel like dealing with these enemies in such close quarters, so I just got out of there. And now we come to the screen that always makes me the tiniest bit nervous, because this is the bit that I think borrows from Propeller Knight quite well. We're going to get one of those really annoying fan blower enemies, which in this area with, again, platforms that you can stand on, the ones that you can't, which, you know, meaning you're kind of hovering over a pit. It always makes me nervous, so I kind of like to approach very, very gingerly. By the way, the gimmick here, you can see the rain falls on certain platforms, on some of them it doesn't, so where you don't see the kind of like water building up Those are fake platforms, don't land on those, only land on the ones where you see like the water actually looks like it's landing on the platforms. Those are your safe spots, don't go for the other ones, you'll fall in the pit. Shovel Knight, stop your meddling and turn back now. This is your last chance. I will reach her, Black Knight, even if I have to go through you. Black Knight, are you guarding my tower? Have you finally decided to join us? You may kneel and pledge your loyalty now. For the last time, I answer to no one. Very well. Here's a tiny taste of the power you spurned. Black Knight, I warned you to stay away. So here we have the most challenging Black Knight fight by far. He has a whole bunch of moves that he decides to do. So he can kind of phase a bit more now. He can shoot multiple Hadoukens. He can act like Sigma. You can still have your fun with reflecting the things back at him. It takes about like 10 seconds, or at least 5 seconds, just kind of playing shoot the projectile back at him. But you can do it eventually. And in addition to Sigma, he also he's also channeling treble boost. He kind of like transforms into a flying creature and hovers around. He also then summons giant flaming meteors which drop to the ground, which are kind of difficult to avoid. He then kind of digs up massive shovel piles, and these meteors on the ground, by the way, also kind of hit you if you don't pogo off them. So again, pogoing off them will do wonders actually for getting your slash attack back. So yeah, this is a very kind of it's a very nice fight actually, a very kind of hectic fight, and I think I do a pretty good job here actually. But yeah, it can be like when you first fight it, it can be one of those ones that really kind of catches you out in terms of difficulty because you're just not expecting it to be this kind of yeah, challenging. At least compared to the other two Black Knight fights. But no, I do like it, and it's a very interesting and hectic fight. This has gone far enough. Whatever you've been trying to do, you can't reach her. You may be right. She may already be lost. But I can't let go of hope. By now, surely you see who I'm trying to save. I do. Do you know a way to bring her back? I haven't tried anything beyond words. Her magic is so powerful. I didn't have the courage. Go. Just don't hurt her, or you'll have to answer to me. Yes, probably not much of a twist, but yes, the Enchantress is actually Shield Knight. Kind of, I say, not a twist or anything like that, because it was something I certainly saw coming. It may be a twist to some. If so, then hopefully it was a nice surprise for you, but it wasn't to me. It did seem like it was kind of the obvious thing that was going to happen. But yeah, that's the first level of the Tower of Fate. Next time we'll be taking on the second level, the Ascent. So till then, cheerio.